There's a strange feeling in the air around Houston right now. You can sense it at the facility as we inch closer to the season. The Texans are operating with a different kind of urgency, a cold efficiency that shows this isn't the same old franchise. Every roster spot is now a battleground because the Super Bowl window is finally open. If you are one of the real fans who stays faithful through every grind, hit that like button and subscribe. We are building something special. But that means making tough decisions that ripple through the locker room today. The news just broke that the Houston Texans have officially signed former New Orleans Saints running back Evan Hull to the 90-man roster. To make this happen, the front office had to make a difficult choice, waiving second-year tight end Luke Lachey. Now, on the surface, this might look like a standard bottom of the roster shuffle. But for those of us who follow this team every single day, it feels like something much more significant is happening behind the scenes. Luke Lachey was a 7th-round pick just last year, a guy coming out of Iowa with that classic tight end pedigree we usually value so highly. He spent his entire rookie season on the practice squad, grinding away and waiting for his moment to prove he belonged in the NFL. But in this new era of Texans football, there is no more room for waiting. The team identity is shifting toward immediate production and high-level competition at every single position. Bringing in Evan Hull is a clear signal that Nick Caserio and DeMeco Ryans were not satisfied with the depth in the backfield. Before this move, we only had 4 running backs on the roster, which is a dangerous game to play when you are planning for a deep postseason run. They needed another body, another set of legs that can push the guys ahead of them. But here is the thing. When you cut a young draft pick like Lachey, before he even gets a real chance to see the field in a regular season game, it sends a message to the rest of the locker room. It tells every young player that their draft pedigree does not protect them anymore. Now, this is where it gets interesting because Evan Hull comes in with a different kind of hunger. He is looking for a fresh start after his time in New Orleans, and the Texans are providing that platform. This move shows that the coaching staff is prioritizing versatility and immediate depth over long-term projects. We are seeing a roster that is being trimmed and molded into a finished product much faster than anyone expected. It is an exciting time to be a fan, but it is also a reminder that the margin for error in Houston has become razor-thin as we chase greatness. This move is the start of a very intense summer. When we look deeper into the consequences of this move, we have to talk about the risk involved in letting a guy like Luke Lachey walk away so early in his career. We have seen it happen before where a young player just needs that second or third year to truly click, especially coming from a program like Iowa that is famous for producing elite tight end talent. By waiving him now, the Texans are essentially betting that they have already found their answers at that position, and that Lachey's ceiling was not high enough to justify a spot on the 90-man unit during these crucial weeks leading into OTAs. It creates a legitimate concern about our depth if an injury were to strike the top of the tight end room. But the roster impact here is really about the pressure being applied to the running back group. By adding Evan Hull, the front office is creating a pressure cooker environment. They want to see who rises to the top when the competition gets stiff. There is an emotional weight to these decisions because these are young men's lives and careers being moved like chess pieces. As fans, we feel that tension because we want to see the homegrown talent succeed. But we also realize that the expectations for this season are higher than they have been in a decade. The Super Bowl isn't just a dream anymore. It is the standard. That means the front office cannot afford to be sentimental about a 7th-round pick if they believe a veteran like Hull provides a better chance to stabilize the offense. This move creates a wave of uncertainty for the remaining bubble players. They see a draft pick from just 1 year ago getting the axe, and they realize that nobody is safe. It is a calculated gamble. The risk is that Lachey goes elsewhere, finds his rhythm, and becomes a contributor for a rival. But the potential reward is a more balanced roster that has the necessary depth at running back to weather the storm of a long 17-game season. It is all about the chemistry and finding the right pieces to fit the puzzle that DeMeco Ryans is building right now. We must trust the process even when it feels difficult. But this is where things change, and we have to look at what this really means for the structure of the offense. The decision to move on from Lachey tells us everything we need to know about how the Texans view their current tight end situation. With Dalton Schultz leading the way, and the addition of veterans like Foster Moreau along with the high-upside rookie Marlon Klein, the room was simply too crowded. Marlon Klein, especially, is someone the organization seems incredibly high on, looking for him to take a massive leap in his first year. When you have that kind of talent at the top, a developmental piece like Lachey becomes expendable. And that is the biggest question. Are we putting too much faith in the new arrivals? This could become something much bigger if the chemistry doesn't hit immediately. We are seeing an escalation of talent, but with that comes an escalation of pressure. The emotional looping of this offseason has been all about winning now. Every single move, including this minor one, is a brick in that wall. If Evan Hull can come in and provide a spark, or even just reliable depth that allows the starters to stay fresh, then the move is a masterstroke. But if the running back room remains stagnant and we lose that tight end depth, people will look back at this moment as a missed opportunity to develop a young asset. This is the future tension of a contender. You are no longer building for 3 years from now, you are building for Sunday. The roster consequences are immediate. We are seeing the Texans move away from being a team that hopes for potential to a team that demands performance. That shift in identity is massive. It changes how the players practice, how the meetings go, and how they approach every single rep. Because this move proves that the front office is watching every single detail. They are not afraid to pull the trigger on a change if they think it makes the team even 1% better. That is the kind of cutthroat environment that leads to championships, but it is also one that leaves very little room for projects. Every single player knows the stakes now. I'm going to be honest with you guys, this move actually worries me a little bit, but I also see the vision. I really like the idea of bringing in Evan Hull because he has that chip on his shoulder after being let go by the Saints. He is a player with something to prove, and those are the types of guys who often thrive in a DeMeco Ryans system. But I am also a little sad to see Luke Lachey go. I think fans should pay attention to how quickly this roster is revolving. It shows that Nick Caserio is not satisfied. He is constantly churning the bottom of the roster, looking for that one diamond in the rough who can make a difference on special teams or in a goal line package. This actually makes me feel cautious about our depth. We are leaning heavily on our veteran leadership and our top-tier draft picks. It is a high-stakes strategy. I really like the move for Hull, because our backfield needed that extra dose of competition to stay sharp. We cannot have a situation where our starters get comfortable. They need to feel someone breathing down their neck every single day in practice. That is how you get the best out of players like Joe Mixon and the rest of the crew. On the other hand, losing a young tight end who knew the system, even if only from the practice squad, is a bit of a blow to the continuity. But in the grand scheme of things, this move is about the Texans' identity. We are becoming a destination where veterans want to come to compete for a ring. Evan Hull choosing to sign here after his time in New Orleans says a lot about the culture being built in Houston. Players around the league are noticing what is happening here. They want to be part of this turnaround. I think we should be optimistic about the direction, even if it means saying goodbye to players we were hoping to see develop. It is a necessary evolution for a team that is tired of being at the bottom. We are fighting for respect, and every roster spot is a piece of that fight. I am leaning toward being excited about what Hull can bring to the table during training camp. This team is ready. As we look toward the start of OTAs and the heat of training camp, this roster move is a reminder that the story of the 2024 Houston Texans is still being written. The arrival of Evan Hull and the departure of Luke Lachey might seem like a small footnote today, but in the NFL, these are the types of decisions that can define the chemistry of a locker room. There is still so much unresolved tension as we wait to see how these new pieces fit together. Will Hull be the depth piece that saves us in a late-season grind? Or will Lachey find success elsewhere and leave us wondering what if? The future is uncertain, and that is exactly what makes this journey so compelling. Something bigger is still coming. We can all feel it. The front office isn't done yet, and the competition is only going to get more intense from here. We are standing on the edge of a season that could change everything for this franchise. I want to hear from you, the real Texans faithful. What do you think about this move? Was it the right call to let Lachey go to bolster the backfield? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to stay tuned for every update as we march toward the season. This is our time, and every move counts. Keep the faith, Texans fans, because the best is yet to come for Houston.